Sound check 1 2 1 2. Hello. Sanibonani. Ngicela abafowethu nodadewethu abaseyami ngaphandle ukuthi bangene bahlale phansi ngoba sesilungiselwe ukuthi silikale uhlelo lwethu. Sicela nje wonke umphakathi ungene uhlale phansi. Mangenzeka sizocela ukuthi sikhave kakhulu lamasithi aphambidlana nokuthi ihlale emuva ukuze singaphazamiseki. Siyabonga kakhulu.
The Constitution gives the arms of government. The legislature is the legislature. In terms of the it's not it is not this it's not the majority, but it is not. This is the executive. This is not the executive. It's the legislature. Within the legislature. So all this is open. Perhaps the one that how does the legislature ask you how to do that? What I mean that then there is the which is the one
Yes, this one is everything we should answer people who accuse the going on, especially public figures. What
which is the one that is checked by the one that is annexed and has the Anthem. It doesn't mean what the other what the other this one, if you were to take as well as that showing us. Yes, you're going to move it. SANAC is in but that
One, two. Siyacela ukuthi laba basemile ngemuva bathathe izihlalo ngoba iprogram yethu seyaqala. Cela ukuthi kwenzeke njalo nje ukuze siphuthume nesikhathi ngoba sishayile kancane. Ngiyabonga.
Sanibonani namhlanje olweni laseBhongweni. Sanibonani namhlanje kwihholo laseBhongweni. Niyaphila? Siyaphila nathi. Igama lami nguNomakhikhi wakwaMajola. Ilunga lesishamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal. Elingusihlalo welikomiti lomnyango wezempilo. Endinikezwe umsebenzi wokuba namhlanje ibe nguprogram director. Ngizawucela besangena abangenayo bangene bahlale phansi khona ukuze sikwazi ukuqala umsebenzi wethu wanamhlanje. Sixolisa ngokuthi njengangoku sesilandela emveni kwexesha besimele basiqale ngalo. Sixolisa kakhulu kuba bakhona bebefikile phambi ko9 khona ukuze u9 ebethe sebengaphakathi. Okuthobeka okukhulu siyaxolisa. Sesizawucela ke njengangoku into yokuthi asikuqala umsebenzi wethu sineculo lesizwe eliza kuthi lenziwe. Sizocela ukuthi abangotata abafake izigqoko bazithathe izigqoko zabo bazibambe ecaleni ngezandla. Sonke sishukume sibe sesidedela wona apho uzonziwa khona umtshini ozosilida nge-National Anthem. Zwe. Iswa imichana so yetu Kosi sikelela china lusapolwayo Urena uruka sishaba sasu Uferisa tunchwali maswenge o Usipuruke sishabasa Yesu Ishapasa, South Africa. We shall stand. Let us see and so in South Africa. Sibonge kwabe besiphetele uhlelo lwe-National Anthem. Siyabulela. Sesiqhubeka ke nomsebenzi wethu. Namhlanje sizawucela ukuthi usekela sotswebhu wethu ubaba Mthembu eze ngaphambili asamkele sikwazi uba sizive sifudumele khona kule ndlu esikuyo namhlanje. Over to you, Honourable Mthembu.
Thank you, Program Director. Program Director, Honourable Nomakiki MAJOLA. Somlomo. Shamthetho KwaZulu-Natal. Hlonishwa Nantembeko Boyce. In absentia, our Premier, Numusa Dube, and all members of the Executive Council. All honorable members of the Provincial Legislature who are with us today. Secretary to Legislature, the leadership of the Health Department, with us, the whole HOD, and we also Ketegile, Zinyane Silo, Prince Zulu Ambassador, Lulusele Siglona. We are saying good morning and a very warm welcome to the KwaZulu-Natal TP Caucus launch, which is a launch that was meant to take place in April, then June, but postponed due to unforeseen circumstances. So we are glad that it is finally happening today. We host this launch in the Gwala district within the bounds of the greater KOKSTAD local municipality. A launch like this, which is solely dedicated to enhancing our struggles to end TB, can only be described as revolutionary. It is revolutionary because its purpose is solely to lend a hand to humanity and preserve life. While TB is preventable and curable, it remains the leading cause of death in South Africa. And this cannot be acceptable to any one of us. According to the World Health Organization, TB remains among the top 10 leading causes of death globally as well. This means that we must do everything possible, both here and in every corner of the world, to eliminate tuberculosis
from the face of the earth. We must explore the best ways of mobilizing the human and financial resources to improve health outcomes, particularly in informal settlements, in rural villages, and in those that are most vulnerable to acquiring TB in our province. We expect that the launching this caucus in KOKSTAD, where TB statistics are said to be high, and I believe they will be tabled here today, will pave the way to advance medical research and growing activism, but also growing understanding of the social determinants of TB as well as other diseases. This is an important launch because it is bringing together social partners to speak with one voice on the need to attract investment in TB research, treatment, and for the advancement of health and human rights of people living with TB and HIV. Its importance also lies in finding new TB champions that will advance the prevention revolution, not just against TB transmission, but for the prevention of the spread of the HIV as well. So let us work together to ensure that no one is left behind as we proactively go out to find people infected with TB and put them on treatment. This we know we must do, honoring the human rights of those infected with TB. No one should be stigmatized because they have TB. For as long as we breathe, anyone can contract the disease. We need media to be our ally in building healthy communities that are free from the pandemics of TB and AIDS. We need young artists to dig deep into their creative reservoirs to compose anthems of hope that will mobilize not only people of KwaZulu-Natal, but the world to lend a hand in ending the diseases and improving health livelihood. Unity and action must be our daily mantra to usher in a world that has a more human face. The international icon of our freedom and a global champion of TB, the late President Nelson Mandela, the international icon of our freedom and global champion of TB, the late Nelson Mandela, let us recall his warning in Bangkok in 2004 when he said, I quote, "The world has made defeating AIDS a top priority. This is a blessing, but TB remains ignored. Today, we are calling on the world to recognize that we can't fight AIDS unless we do much more to fight TB as well," close quote. We must all join hands and ensure no one is left behind as we intensify our fight to end TB. Every achievement that the world have made in advancing human civilization was only possible because of the sheer determination in finding solutions to complex challenges of the time. With this fight, it is also possible. We as parliamentarians have a responsibility and moral obligation to do whatever is in our power to reduce the TB burden. In the world, India is the fourth country to launch the India TB Caucus. The KwaZulu-Natal TB Caucus must be uniquely positioned to advocate for a better and a more effective policies and program to eliminate TB. Kalawo mazwi ke nje amafishanyana. I welcome you and declare the session officially open. Ngamandla eningikezona ngiyabonga.
Masikhulule ibhaji zethu sonke sikhululeke kuyona le ndawo esikuyo. Ndizoxolisa kuqala xa bengisithi makashukume ndiye ndathi njengangoku ungusotswebhu uDeputy Speaker wethu ubaba uQhudeni. Okwesibini ndiyathanda ukutsho into yokuthi qala nditshilo ndathi liholo laseBhongweni sesilitshintshile lasalenza njengangoku legislature precinct. Konke okungaphakathi sekulawulwa umthetho wesishayamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal. Okwenzekayo khona kufuneka kwenzeke ngokomthetho. Apho kusekusenzeka ngaphandle komthetho kunohlobo ekuye kusetyenzwe ngalo kubantu abenza ngaphandle komthetho. Bendidlula njena ndifuna ukutsho into yokuthi njengangoku kuyatshiwo kuthiwa i-TB iyole, it's no longer a family issue, it is a societal issue. As you are seeing outside different stakeholders, sonke sizokwenza i-social solidarity to kill this TB. Sendidlula ke njengangoku ngokwexesha lethu okulandelayo njengangoku sizawumamela njengangoku amazwi support, words of support esizawanikezwa uDeputy Mayor inkosazana uTN Jojozi ongwalapha khona. KOKSTAD. Sicela uzentombazana.
Thank you, Program Director, Honourable Nomagigi, Mamo Speaker, Legislature Mamo Boyce, Deputy Speaker, Babu Mthembu, all the MPLs present today, Mayor, Secretary KOKSTAD, Councillor Matigizela ekhona namhlanje, Speaker wethu waseHeri Gwala, Councillor Mdunge, Speaker wase Greater KOKSTAD, Councillor Nozaza, Councillor wonke from both municipalities, district ne Greater KOKSTAD, HOD, ne staff sonke sase parliament nabamasipala bobabini, SANAC nazo zonke NGOs ezinoba zikhona namhlanje ne-NPOs ezikhona namhlanje ezincedisana nathi singurhulumente ukulwisana nesisifo kuthiwa i-TB, nabo bonke nje activists ezikhona namhlanje ezithi nazo zizawuzinikela ekuthini iphele i-TB KZN naseMzantsi Afrika ngokuphela. Endiqonda uba abaphambili ke i-department ephambili ekulisaneni nokuthi i-TB masibe siyibona into edlulileyo uHeri Gwala district ku-Department of Health ndiyababona abantu abasuka ku-Department of Health. I'm here standing in for the mayor. Before nditsho kanjalo amakhosi aseNdlunkulu. Yabona ke mangibona uPrince Zulu. Ngithande kakhulu. It's for years nje. Umntane wesilo ephambili ekulwisaneni not just TB, HIV activist nabo bonke i-traditional leaders ezikhona ngaphakathi endlini kodwa nje ukuphakambisa nje umntwana wenkosi, umntwana esilo ophakathi kwethu. Siziva nje sibaluleke kakhulu eKOKSTAD ngokuthi ube khona nawe namhlanje umntwana esilo. Silapha ke okokuqala nje kukwazisa kwi-legislature ukuthi umeya akakwazanga kubakho ngenxa yokukhothama kwenye yenkosi zethu apha kwi-district. Kwasho ukuthi namhlanje amakhosi kunye nomeya baya ekhayeni lenkosi yabeke iyahlangana imicimbi yomibini ibalulekile. Kodwa sifuna ukuthi siyiHerry Gwala ukuthi siyabonga kakhulu kwi-legislature yaKwaZulu-Natal ngokusoloko i-prioritize iHerry Gwala kwi-programs zayo ezisa uhulumente phambili onye ezisa uhulumente ebantwini. Siyayazi ke into yoba thina abantu baseHerry Gwala abakhona apha sifuneka singayithathi kancinci le nto, siyithathe njengendlalo, siyithathe njenge-benefit kuthi ukuthi as much as i-services sizifumana kuhulumente esizidingayo, your water services, your infrastructure nako konke okuziswa nguhulumente, kodwa uhulumente into ayikhuthazayo ukuthi abantu mabaphile, mabazi-enjoye ezi services bephilile, because if abantu abaphilanga they won't enjoy ubumnandi boba ne-services ezinhle kangaka uhulumente we-ANC ozizisa ebantwini. So sibulela ke ukuthi siprioritize siyiHerry Gwala, futhi asiprioritize nje Mama Boyce kuba singenazinkinga. We know eHerry Gwala ukuthi makuzolontsha le TB Caucus la eHerry Gwala, we are not immune nathi ekuthini iyasichaphazela iTB kakhulu eHerry Gwala, and ikakhulu le ekuthiwa i-resistant, drug resistant TB sinayo. Kama xa ndimi apha ndifuna ukumemelela kubo bonke abakhoyo ukuthi siyacela ukuthi emakhayeni makube khona abantu abonyulwayo ekuthiwa zi-health champions. Abantu ikhaya nekhaya abazokwazi ukuripota kwimitholampilo ukuthi hayi ubani nimnikile amaphilisi kodwa engathi akawaseli, okanye ubani engekho nje apha ekhaya hayi useThekwini. Ngoba apha eHerry Gwala another problem esinayo, because we are closer to Eastern Cape and also to Lesotho. Sine problem kakhulu ye-patients zethu ezilahlekayo ezingakwazi ukulandelela i-medications zabo, ngoba abanye bafika bengabaseLesotho mhlawumbe basebenzise bakwazi ukufumana ii-addresses zalapha njalo njalo, kodwa baphinde balahleke. Abanye bafike bengabase-Eastern Cape baphinde balahleke. Sinezo challenges ezinjalo esithi ke kumakhaya ngamakhaya siyamemelela into yoba mazibe khona ezi health champions ezoncedisana nokuthi ziripotele uhulumente ngokwenzekayo kwimpilo ngee-families esihlala nazo kwindawo esuka kuzo njengamakhaya. Ngaloo mazwi ndingandanga kakhulu ndithatha ixesha elide, ndifuna ukuthi eHerry Gwala siyayisapota kakhulu le program. eHerry Gwala siyathanda into yoba abantu bethu babe ngabantu abaphilileyo. Siyibonga ukuthi uhulumente ndifuna ukutsho ke ndingananazi into yoba this benefit ayizi nje mahala, kuthiwa nothing for mahala. Bayayisebenzela abantu baseHerry Gwala le benefit yokuthi baprioritizwe yi-legislature yaKwaZulu-Natal nazo zonke ii-departments ezikhoyo, because bavota kakuhle, bavotela into yoba i-ANC mayibe yona ehamba phambili. Iyabaprioritize kakhulu ke i-ANC abantu abavote kahle. Esinethemba u-IEC ukhona apha ngaphandle ukuthi siyacela ukuthi abantu baphume barejistarishe ukuvota, bayorejista phaya ku-IEC so that bazokwazi into yoba uyovotwa. Asitsho uba bavotele bani ke next time. Kodwa bayabona uba kwenzekani xa bevote kakuhle. Bayabona. Ngalo mazwi sifuna ukubonga kakhulu kwi-legislature sithi halala legislature sase KZN halala. Thank you so much. Bonke kumamtshotshosi ngokuthi njengangoku asithi vandla ngamazwi we-support kule program. Ndifuna umuntu ngamnye akhumbule into yokuthi izibhedlele ze-TB esaba nazo phambi ko-1994 zazimi njani na. Kodwa ngokokwazi kwami ingathi zonke emngceleni wedolophu nathi. Uyayibona isanta eMzumbe ipha ime kulaa ndawo, uyambona ifoza eMbumbulu nayo imi kanjalo. Kutsho ukuthi ayikhona ingxaki eyayinanyatheliswe kule nto ye-TB. Sizophelisa loo nto njengangoku and sawuqhubeka siyiphelisa kude kuyovalwa. Sendidlula ke njengangoku ngizocela uDr Nkhwashu osuka from SANAC oyena ozawusenzela the overview of the South African TB Caucus. Why TB Caucus? Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Nkhwashu. Eseza ngiyamqhoba lezandla.
Sanibonani. Yes, my name is Nkhwashu. I'm from originally where I was born. I'm Shangani.
Mandixolise isayamthetho ngokuthi ndibe ndinokutsiba usomlomo wethu ukuqinana kwale program uhlobenziwe ngalo. The only space that is so visible is the one that has made me to go to Dr. Nkhwashu. Now lixesha lethu esimele uba njengangoku simamele usomlomo wethu ezosixelela ukuthi kungani namhlanje silapha. Kungani namhlanje silapha. Ndiyaxolisa Mahubele.
Sanibonani. Bengithi ay noba besengize emva kwaDokotela hoyi. Ngoba sonke
You can't go wrong.
singamaphini abonda imbiza enye ukuze iphakeke kakuhle. Ndiyathatha lithuba ndiyabulela kuwe mphathi wohlelo Masoka. Ndibulise kusekela somlomo wesihlalomthetho saKwaZulu-Natal umhlonitshwa uRichard Mthembu. Ndibulise kundunankulu unyamazana Manzwakele wakwaNcube, umphathiswa wemisebenzi kahulumente ulwandle kaluwelwa inkojane ezihamba phezulu. Kuthiwa ke kwakuphekwa ngelinye ilanga laphayana ngakwesikamhlonishwa uKhawula kwaphekwa itshe, kwaphekwa umuntu wakwaduma, lathamba lavushwa itshe engekavushwa Mthombeni. Ngibingelele wonke amalungu aphethe uhulumeni wakwaZulu-Natal nomphathiswa wezempilo impembe kalokothwayo emelwe namhlanje inhloko yomnyango umshengu ongakwazi ke noko ukucula ngena award eduze kwakhe. Kodwa kona izibhedlela ziyasebenza azibhekisiwe nathenjwe ngazo. Dokotela Tshabalala, amalungu esishayamthetho, sihlalo oyihlalo, mbhexesho inhloko, sekela mbhexesho inhloko nosekela sihlalo oyihlalo nawo wonke osihlalo bamakomiti abakhoyo namalungu wonke esishayamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal. Uzwide Mayor wesifunda sase Gwala, Masipala othiwe ngelunga lesishayamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal ngo-1994 ayemabili amalungu esishayamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal ayeke athi ngexesha lencindezelo ahamba ayohlala esiqithini engahlalile ebutshiwe. Elinye ke selagqiba 100 years ubaba uHerry Gwala. Ndimbonile ke umtshana wam apha bethuna nomeya seKOKSTAD kumtshanam. Umeya ungutyana umtshanam. Ndenzela Meya Jojo zinazi ba ndingumakazi kameya. Amakhosi akhoyo apha ndiyakhahlela uzo zonke izindlu zobukhosi ezikhoyo. Ndiyaxolisa uba ndifike sekuqala umcimbi ndangakwazi ukuzobulisa kufutshane. Ndizawugqibela ke ndingazazanga uba zeziphi ezikhoyo. Ndizogqibela ke ngoku ndingakwazi kuyibulisa izindlu ngobukhosi bazo. Ndiza kubetha ngathi andikubonanga mbonobomvu. Ndibulise bonke ubukhosi obukhoyo. Bulise bonke abazinhloko zeminyango abakhoyo. Nobhala wesishayamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal. Babamele. Hey, ngazofika kanjani emakhosini? Khona umntwana wasendlunkulu lana. Manje ngimbone ebhalwe lapha ku-civil society. Ngeke Mageba. Ubhalwe ku-civil society Mageba. Thole lesilo. Kona kaZwelithini kabheka uZulu. Mntwana unhlanganiso. Siyathobeka ndaba ukuthi uphakathi kwethu. Asizuthi ngoba sikubona uze ngelinye ikepisi sikhohle ikepisi lakho lokuthi thina singabakho. Siyisizwe sikababa wakho. Siyisizwe sikaZulu. Ibingelele abathunywa sisazela. Civil society ithunywa sisazela, ithunywa nguNembeza, ayidingi imali. Ngelinye ixesha ayidingi nakhono ilifunda ngendlela. Kodwa abanye bathunywa emakhaya ukuyofundela ukuba ngoogqirha. Kuthenjwe ukuthi bazawuhamba besitofa, bazisa imali, kodwa bathi bona bazosebenzela izwe bengazurhola. The doctors that are representing civil society, Dr. Nkhwashu, Dr. Nzimande, my brother there, and my sister, and all members of civil society that are with us. Nabo bonke abasebenzi besishayamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal, ndiyabingelela. Okwam ke akukuninzi ngaphandle kokuzochaza uba utheni nasilapha. Kuthiwa ke emampondweni uthi xa efika umatyi ebuza obebanjiwe uba unaloni ityala. Athi andizukwenzela lula matyi, nam ndilapha nje ndizovonto ndizoyiva pha kuwe. Utheni ze sibe lapha namhlanje sisithi sizokwenza i-TB Caucus? Yintoni nalona eliqugula le-TB? Sizawuphuma sonke apha siphethwe yi-TB na? Noba kuthetha ukuthi thina soze yasiphatha i-TB. Namhlanje sizothetha ngohambo oluqalwe yindlu yowisomthetho yaKwaZulu-Natal. Yalibamba ibambisene kwesokunxele nakwesokunene noNdunankulu kwakunye ne-South African National AIDS Council eyokuba masibe nequgula elibhekene ncakasana nesifo sofuba ekusiso ke esibeke lapha namhlanje. Niyayazi uba isifo sofuba sisaqhubeka elizweni lethu ukuba yeminye yemicelimngeni ekusamele ukuthi ijongwe ngendlela ekhawulezileyo. Umbutho wamazwe wonke omhlaba wezempilo kwingxelo yawo yesifo sofuba ngomnyaka odlulileyo u-2022 yathatha yabeka iSouth Africa yaba yenye yamazwe angama-30 asenezinga eliphezulu losuleleko le-TB. And yasibeka ukuthi sisenomthwalo ongama-87 ekhulwini wabantu abasosuleleka ngofuba. Yathi sisengomnye noba silelinye lamazwe ali-10 abasaphathwa zizifo ezithathu ezihlangeneyo ekuyisifo sofuba, kube sisifo sofuba kwakunye negciwane lengculaza, uphinde kube sisifo sofuba esenziwa kukungaphenduli emayezeni okulapha isifo sofuba, MDR. Singolinye lamazwe amahlanu asekwaziyo ukuba nabantu abangama-500 phakathi kwabantu abali-100 kwinkulungwane abasakwaziyo ukufumaneka benesifo sefuba. The World Health Organization further estimated that South Africa had TB incidences of 304,000, of which 163,000 were HIV positive. Yabonakalisa ukuthi kwabo abayi-304,000, abayi-163,000 were HIV positive. Okwenza okokuba iqhubeleke usuleleko ngegciwane lengculaza eSouth Africa. Iqhutyelwa kakhulukazi sisimo senhlalo nezomnotho nangabantu abangaze baye emazikweni ezempilo ukuze bakwazi ukujongwa noma banikezwe unyango lwesifo sefuba, ngoba isifo sofuba siyelapheka. Kodwa futhi kusekhona ukuthi kuyakwazi ukuthi xa unesifo sofuba uzifumane ungcikivwa noma usohlulelwa, being stigmatized and discriminated by other community members. Abesilisa bakubona kakhulu lokho as compared to women. Whilst latest statistics show South Africa as having a history of battling with various forms of tuberculosis, which are exacerbated by our HIV prevalence, are there. There is a responsibility of government to provide health, but there is another responsibility of parliament and legislatures to oversee the provision of health care. It was then against this backdrop that Parliament resolved to establish a South African chapter of Global TB Caucus on the 4th of September 2018. In their resolutions, the two houses, which is the National Assembly and NCOP, noted that TB is one of the leading causes of death in South Africa, and that the South African chapter of Global TB Caucus was intended to raise awareness and support efforts to accelerate the elimination of the disease by 2030 in line with the targets set by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The TB Caucus would also provide a platform to members of parliament and members of provincial legislatures to champion the response to TB in their constituencies and drive political action to end the disease. The inaugural caucus on the 6th of August 2019 resolved that South African National AIDS Council should lead the implementation of the South African TB caucus activities. SANAC core responsibilities of the caucus is to support the National Parliament and all the 9 provincial legislatures when launching their TB caucuses, to facilitate the development of the caucus members' work plan, mobilize and motivate the members to advocate for the country's TB response to reaching end TB targets by 2030. Now, whilst we need to do it as politicians, but we also have to be cognizant that there are people who specialize in this, and therefore we need to partner with SANAC. And SANAC is here with us today as that partner who is supporting us going forward. Then engagements between the KwaZulu-Natal Legislature, Office of the Premier and SANAC commenced in early 2021 with an introductory meeting of the TB caucus facilitated by the Office of the Premier. That meeting resulted in the report by the KZN Health MEC on the state of TB prevalence in our province. That was tabled and debated and followed by a debate in the KwaZulu-Natal Legislature. So we had to debate sibe moya mnye eku understanding ukuthi there is a need to have a TB caucus as the legislature of KwaZulu-Natal, because we also see the prevalence in our province. The legislature therefore appointed a multi-party TB coordinating committee to drive the work of the TB caucus in November 2022. The intention was to have the launch taking place in March this year to coincide with the international commemoration of TB month. But due to a congested legislature calendar, this noble goal could not be realized. Furthermore, serious funding constraints meant that we could only proceed with it inside the house of the legislature, because it is a legislature program and we had to do the caucus and launch it in Parisburg. Until once again, SANAC pledged to find resources, which is why we are here today, honorable members. SANAC then funded the members that were transported working with the Office of the Premier and sent them here. And I think ake simbonge SANAC ngezandla. I said earlier on, some were taken to school. Ucinga uba bazofunda baqhubeke baloko befuna imali ikhule, but they decided to serve. But they don't end there. They bring resources. Thank you. One of the driving forces for us to be here today and continuing to work with SANAC is because as the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Legislature, we have a specialized oversight that is going to health institutions, where every day we witness the high number of default, especially on chronic, including TB. The lack of proper follow-up, and we find that with more advocacy and a dedicated caucus intervention, the TB caucus will be invaluable to the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Of course, as Councillor Jojo spoke of, what we should not forget, the inter-border incidences. KwaZulu-Natal, this side is bordering with the Eastern Cape. On the other side, it's with Lesotho. You go up to Umkhanyakude, we are bordering with Mozambique. You go to Zululand, we are bordering with Swazi. Oh, Eswatini, yeah, the new name is Eswatini. You are bordering with Eswatini. Now, sometimes our institutions become unable to follow up people who have come into the institutions. But of course, the national roads, Dr. Tshabalala, may be contributing, because some of the people that go through our national roads, especially through the Richards Bay and Durban corridors, may not be traceable when they go to the institutions of health. And then this leaves us at the lawmaking side and oversight, only believing that your department is not following without understanding the real causes behind these defaults. With the dedicated caucus being able to look at the patterns from the oversight side, because we want to emphasize the TB caucus will be doing the oversight work. And we will not be blurring the lines. I love the fact that most of them, in fact, all of them are seasoned politicians who have been doing this since forever. We believe that constituency offices being at the center of awareness and advocacy would also bring more work to the TP caucus, so that the funding that the legislature gives to parties is also used to contribute to changing lives. Ngisho ngoba mageba eyami office ila eHarding, there is a border in St. Andrews. Whenever you go to St. Andrews Hospital, I am sure that you will find more than 20 admitted patients who are coming from Winnie Matikizela Mandela local municipality. It's something that has been happening way back. Even my own father passed on here at Asha Memorial Hospital. That's why I don't go to that hospital. So these are things that are realities that need to be traced by the TP caucus, and we trace it. We would, with all that, still rely on SANAC in the immediate future until such time that through the proper appropriation means there is funds set aside for the TP caucus. So, honorable members, when you go to the appropriation cycle that is about to start for the next financial year, you must provide for the TP caucus. It is in this vein that we would like to take, therefore, this opportunity to register not only our gratitude to SANAC and civil society partners, but also to call on the continued holding of hands as we move forward. We understand that it is late in the term of office, Deputy Speaker, but the old idiom that goes better late than never must take us forward, and we take pride that today we are launching the KZN chapter of the TP caucus. Namhlanje into esizeleyo sizolauncha iTB caucus yaKwaZulu-Natal, which is a platform of members to champion responses to TB in their constituencies and in the province. and drive political action to end the disease and the stigma associated with it. As an activist, people-centered legislature, we locate TB Caucus as one of the foundational elements in our oversight, focusing on how government will henceforth be responding to TB prevalence in our province without diluting our soon-to-be unveiled role as TB ambassadors in the province and beyond. As I conclude, honorable members, guests, Amakhosi, leadership of SANAC, and the leadership of the municipalities, I wish to reassure you of my unwavering political support, together with the Deputy Speaker, the Chairperson of Committees, the Deputy Chairperson of Committees, the Chief Whip and the Deputy Chief Whip, as we go to the Program Committee. We pledge our unwavering support to the TB Caucus to do its work unhindered and allowed space in the program of the legislature when we are dealing with the program for next year. And also commit to SANAC that their support will never be taken with hostility. But of course, as long as we understand the doctrine of the separation of powers, which remains an important doctrine in the Constitution. Siyabulela kakhulu KOKSTAD.
Isiphinde ezandla mhlawumbe singake sifumane imali lapha legislature. Siyabonga Makhubela, siyabonga ngokusirhabulisa ekseni. Asirhabulisa savuma, siyavuma singamalungu esishamthetho into yokuthi we will play our advocacy role as far as the TB is concerned. Phambi kokuba ndivulele isikhulumi esilandelayo, ngifuna ukutsho into yokuthi within these premises sinama services akhona which are the partners on site. There's the Office of the Premier Youth Development Sector, the Office of the Premier, the KZN, that is the Department of Health, Department of Social Development, UMED, UTHINK, Usmama Career Center, Sports, Arts and Culture, Harambe, South African Youth Media, Finally, Sibonge Department of Agriculture and IEC. Those are the services that we are having outside. Whoever will be in need as far as the health is concerned, you are free to go and see how far they can take you. That will be taking us now to where I jumped earlier. It's taking us to the overview of the South African TB Caucus by Dr. Nkhwashu. Dr. Nkhwashu, this is your time. I apologize for making you to stand. I apologize for skipping our speaker at that time. I think apology has been accepted.
Thank you very much. As I highlighted, that my native language is Shangani, so you will pardon me if I make some mistakes along the way with my Zulu. Sanibonani, greetings to everyone. Greetings, Program Director, Honourable MAJOLA, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Deputy Speaker, His Royal Highness, Priest Hlanganiso, all members of Parliament present, Mayor of Gwala, and all the district management, fellow speakers on the program, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Abushane. Yes, I'm going to give you the overall of what the TB Caucus is. South Africa Parliament on Tuesday, the 4th of September 2018, both houses of Parliament, the National Assembly and National Council of Provinces resolved to establish a South African chapter of the Global TB Caucus with the aim of eliminating TB as a public health threat by 2030, in alignment with our national development plans and also in alignment with the global health strategy. The Global TB Caucus was established in October 2014 by the United Nations. It is a worldwide network of parliamentarians and legislators, ministers, and again, all the other constituents that are working on the elimination of TB. When it was started in South Africa, the Minister of Health by that time, who was Minister Aaron Motsoaledi, was co-opted to be the co-chair of the Global TB Caucus. And I want you to understand that by that time, it was because we were just starting. It was established with the understanding that to end TB, we need political commitment and we need our political heads to commit and champion the fight against TB, which is affected by many factors other than health-related issues. TB is the world leading cause of infectious disease killer, although it is curable. All of us, we understand that if you take the TB treatment correctly, it is indeed curable. However, globally, we have been struggling to eliminate it. The caucus itself is open to all parliamentarians and legislators. In their resolution, as indicated that the two houses noted that TB is the leading cause of death in South Africa, and that a South African chapter of the Global TB Caucus needs to be established. And it was established with the aim and the intention to raise awareness and support efforts to accelerate the elimination of the disease here in South Africa by 2030, in line with the targets that were set by the United Nations at that time. The caucus will also provide a platform of members of parliament and of the legislators to champion the disease, the response to TB in their constituent, and drive the political action to end the disease, and also play a role of providing oversight to all the TB activities in the country. SANAC was tasked with a coordination of the Global TB Caucus in South Africa. Last year, in communication with the Speaker of Parliament, she indicated the need to invigorate the focus of TB in the country and launch the TB Caucus in all provinces that have not done so. This aligns with the call to end TB by 2030, as indicated in the National Strategic Plan for HIV, TB, and STI that was recently launched. And this strategy is guiding us in terms of looking at all the responses from 2023 to 2028. Hence, we are gathered today here in KZN, as indicated by the Speaker, to launch the TB Caucus in KZN. However, it should be noted that SANAC plays a coordinating role, and that the ownership of the TB Caucus in the province lies with the legislature, and the accountability, or the overall accountability, it lies with the Speaker of the legislature, who can delegate, the function or the people or the committee that she deemed fit to be working with her in championing the fight against TB in the province. This Speaker include the drafting of the work plan, It also includes the plan of actions highlighting all the activities that the legislature will drive in the province, together with the partners whom she deemed fit to work with her in championing these activities. All this should be led by the legislature members of the TB Caucus. And also, they will be performing the function as highlighted of oversight of the TB activities in the province. Today, we have 5 provinces in South Africa that have launched the TB caucuses, and KZN will be the 6th provinces. However, something that we need to note is that now as SANAC, we know that it will be known that the TB caucus is launched in South Africa because KZN, you have never disappointed us. Your activities when you take over, you know, the functions and your role, it becomes known in the overall of South Africa. And as highlighted, we are looking forward to that because we know now that you will lead the activities of the TB caucus in the country. And in that note, we say, welcome to the party. And as you have highlighted, the TB caucus is now yours. Thank you.
There is a tiny lady called Gugu Shabangu, and then Dr. Nkhwashu and Dr. Ulu and Zwe. A fight. We have been in a battle, but a battle engaveliyo bekuphuma iqupha one way because we wanted to launch this TB caucus, and today it is really launched. Thank you. And now we are going to proceed to Babunzimande ezokusho into yokuthi what is the role of the civil society in the context of TB? Over to you, Babunzimande.
Honourable Speaker, allow me as well, Program Director, ngidlapha uma ngikhuluma. And legislator ngibona ngathi formal kakhulu. So allow me to write on the same protocol that has already been observed so that ngingoni kakhulu. Because if I go on and on, ngize ngiqede lokho ekufuneke ngikusho la. Sanibonani. Angihambi ke ngedwa, ngihamba no civil society waKwaZulu-Natal olidwa laphaya or co-leading at the Premier's office. Sinama district chairpersons akhona la who are well represented. We got eThekwini, we have iLembe, we have uThukela. Kuthiwa bacela ukunibona. Sho nje bangibiza nje ngicela ninyakazi. Thi ngiqale phansi, cela ukubona iTheku. Sizonke iLembe, Babshandu, uThukela represented by Sakhile. Umzinyathi angimboni baba Gwala ngimboni. Umgungundlovu John. Upho John. Nangemuva John funa ubuhleli phansi mase khuluma usihlalo imini usihlalo. Kodwa uyantanda. Umkhanya kude. We also have Zululand. And also we have sector leaders who are here, leadership of the PLHIV, ngicela isukume nje yonke, and wave sibone people living with HIV who are well represented in this place, especially Hlombe Likhulu. I want to take this opportunity as Speaker ngibonge ithuba kuthi kahle kahle kumina mhlambe nizongivumela ngikhuluma isiZulu uma kuthiwa ibikhona indlela bengizothi asigiye ngaqala ukumhlupha uspeaker ngithi speaker TB Caucus sibona amanye ama-province launcha but ngiyazi ukuthi KwaZulu-Natal ithi mengabe siyenza afika unational azokopela aphinde athi futhi best practice iqhamuka la KwaZulu-Natal. We want to really say thank you so much for allowing this opportunity. Before I get on my message of support, I also want to thank the Premier's Office, Priority Programs, Chief Director wakhona, thinking Mbonile. I feel really a need to thank also HIV and AIDS Directorate, Siskuku. Angimazi ukuthi uhleliphi, but I know ukuthi ukhona. Siyabonga kakhulu usithe uphi nabo bonke abasebenzi base-ofisini likaNdunankulu. But kodwa manje ngifuna ukuthi kunina bhabha yini ke eyeni role iphelile. You have brought us this far, and thank you so much. The mandate is no longer yours. It now belongs to the legislature, but it would have not been possible if it was not for your resources and pushing through your partners as well. We acknowledge the partners that have contributed into ensuring that we launch this TB caucus. Speaker, I want to say that we recognize as civil society that the promotion and protection of human rights of people who are affected by tuberculosis is a legal and ethical as well as a moral imperative of a crucial importance in the effectiveness in the response on TB, mainly in KwaZulu-Natal. TB does not only affect just anybody because it's an airborne disease, ngoba kuyigciwane esithelelana lona ngokomoya. Kodwa TB also need us to talk about, umntwana unhlanganiso will attest to this. Kuyofuneka sikhulume about human settlement la kuhlala khona abantu. Ngoba mesibheka inamba ze-TB, Dr. Sandile, sibona ziningi kakhulu emijondolo. Uma singaqedi imijondolo, singayiqedi TB. Therefore, we need to accelerate service delivery when we are speaking about tuberculosis. eThekwini is one of the districts which is red when we are speaking about TB. Umgungundlovu is one of the districts that is red when we are speaking about TB. But if you go to eThekwini, it's not in Westville, it's not in Palito, it's not in Amhlanga. You find it in Ward 59, la kugcwele khona imjondolo eNandi. You find it in Welpadach, la kugcwele khona imjondolo. Uyithole eKhathomeno, la khona imjondolo. In year 2015, we did a door-to-door campaign in Khathomeno. Samba nayo umntwana with the late Silo. And mangabe siya lapha kwakusaid ukubona ukuthi besijomba amagundane before singene emzini yabantu, and that's where TB was mostly prevalent. We also acknowledge KwaZulu-Natal, our message of support will be around that we are a human right centered approach. Sithi uma singeke sikwazi ukuvukela amalungelo abantu kakhulukazi abantu abamnyama ngeke size siqede TB. We need to promote even through service delivery of Department of Health, and we applaud the Department of Health ukuthi asana imjovo. Sasiyajova mphakathi. Isakhona imjovo ye-TB? Awukhuluma niphela, isakhona imjovo? Sagcina nini ukuze kukhona imjovo ye-TB? Awusekho umjovo we-TB. Treatment has been shortened. It means science is working. But the problem still remains. You cannot give me a pill on an empty stomach. We are saying bring a multi-sectoral response and ensure food security and proper nutrition for people who are taking treatment. Angazi ukuthi ubani ongathi grant ayiphele uma ngabe une-TB ngoba khona abantu who still struggles to take a treatment because they are unemployed and they cannot take a treatment ye-TB. Therefore, we want that to be acknowledged and also emphasized. Before I close, I also want to talk about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This TB Caucus is going to help us to eliminate and foster a very positive dialogue. Mengithi goodbye, Office of the Premier. Yours is the NSP, not the TB Caucus. Lagu TB Caucus is the legislature and civil society. Civil society, they have brought us this far. Now it is our role to ensure that there's a healthy debate in the legislature of KwaZulu-Natal that is going to bring accountability into our government officials. Few weeks ago, Speaker, we went to do Operation Bow in Uthugela district. We did household visit. It was very sad to find people, one day they were started on treatment, the following day they were told they don't have TB, the following week they were referred to another facility in Uthugela district and they were told they have TB. In the very same week they were told they don't have TB. It's a human right violation. Let's get our story straight. What is the diagnosis tools that we are using in our communities, and how do we ensure that we confirm that somebody has TB? Singaqalisa abantu kwi-treatment kuleli viki, next week uyamyekisa. We are calling for accountability and quality delivery of TB services within communities. KwaZulu-Natal Civil Society Forum, I want to say this, avulekile amasango in the legislature for TB Caucus. Let's get there and do an oversight with them. This is our way to partner with them. Now we have a problem that we need to solve in KwaZulu-Natal. We have allowed our donors, labantu abafika nemali, evela phesheya. Some of these people are not even based in South Africa, but they come and tell us what they are going to provide for us. As civil society, we are saying enough is enough. We need to tell the donors where the need is. And if it means, because donation yama international donors is only sitting at about 20%. So most of the funding is coming from domestic funding, even with Department of Health. We don't want distribution of resources. The TB Caucus is going to allow us to ensure that we stop this money laundering and monopoly of organization. 1 minute, Dr. Sandile, one district, it's this partner. You come back the following week, it's this partner. We chop and change as we please, but there's no proper consultation of which partner. We want sustainability, because these partners will leave us one day. And TB, easy for and this disease belong to us. Actually, they're supposed to bring the money. If you Global Fund, if you USAID, it's taxpayers' money. If you World Bank, but we are saying we need to coordinate where these resources are needed. Civil society organizations are not funded. Let me say this, not to embarrass anyone. It was very sad when we were traveling. I'm saying civil society leaders are here. Not even one partner gave civil society a vehicle to get here. We had to go and beg on last minute to say, please carry so and so. Civil societies were sitting in a van, behind a van. Human rights violation also says we need to equalize the ground. You cannot call us into such platforms unless we are equal. Equal means that we need to equalize even the way we treat each other from the ground up to this level. There's no need for us to sit in this level if we are not equal on the ground. We are calling for equality right on the ground before we can get here. How are we going to end AIDS by 2030 as we have committed in our declarations if the ground is still not equal? Who are the leaders of these organizations who are funded? Why are they doing it outside of civil society? Because we are leaders of civil society and are seeing down. We want to see AIDS coming to an end. We want to ensure accountability right till the end. Down. So now our role is simple as civil society. We're going to bring accountability. And when we think we have account, we're going to bring more accountability. We have meetings with USAID. We have meetings with Global Fund. We've just been invited by the Wellcome Trust. They've given a lot of money into a Tegwini Speaker almost billions of money in Tegwin, and they are saying they want to work with vulnerable communities. And we are saying, when you were planning this proposal, you did not even consult the affected communities. Now, I want to applaud the Department of Health. For the very first time, we see proper inclusion of civil society. Ungcono kuthiwa ukhona uNomagugu la kaze ngimbone mina uMEC osibiza kangaka asibize ngisho sesizibuza ukuthi bekufanele yini asibize kodwa sibize athi angikwazi kwenza lutho ningekho. That's the effort of the Office of the Premier in the PCA. We bring accountability. Hayi ngoba suke sidelela, hayi ngoba suke sithanda ukukhuluma, hayi ngoba suke because we know how much is invested. Mphakathi waseHerry Gwala and stakeholders of KwaZulu-Natal, change is here. And abafuna ukushiya abahambe. Kwafika isikhathi la uJesu ebuza abafundi bakhe ukuthi nani nifuna ukungishiya yini? Wathi ufuna ukungishiya akangishiye. Listen, kunesikhathi la kufanele khona abantu mase befuna ukuhamba, let them go. Osekhathele ukusebenza kwaZulu-Natal akaphume ahambe, thina sosala sibamba la kwaZulu-Natal. Kade abazali bethu bazalelwa engculazini, sakhuliswa abazali abanengculaza, sakhuliswa abazali ababene TB. Sithi abahambayo so isala sibamba. Viva civil society, viva.
Thethe kwavokotheka ubaba uNzimande from the civil society. Siyavuma siyangena esiguqweni. Njengangoku namhlanje that we have launched TB Caucus, everything will be done in front of us. There's nothing that will be complained away from us. When we were outside the TB Caucus procedures and the procedures and the principles, unfortunately, it was not easy for us to know deeper as the advocate, as people who are advocating for our people of the same civil society. We are the ones that are supposed to be playing that advocacy role. We are here, as we are here, based on the Constitution of South Africa and Section 27, everybody has got a right for equal quality health services that are supposed to be received by our people. Then we come up with the Act 63 of 2003 that is saying, how do we come up with these multidisciplinary structures in order to manage issues of TBs, issues, whatever that is talking to health. It has got the Constitution, and then we've got the acts that are putting it in how to follow the procedures and the principles. So we are here, and we are happy to be here today in partnership now, getting the power of doing our oversight in whatever that is being done as far as the TB is concerned. Thank you so much, Babu Nzimande. Ndizodlula sibe sesicela njengangoku my experience with TB. Prince N Zulu, National TB Ambassador.
Ngiyathokoza ukuthola isikhathi ngibingelele uSpeaker Boyce Mvelasi enomele uMayor Mamchochozi ama members of the legislature sanibonani bomama nobaba. Ngiyathokoza. Dr Tshabalala njengonhloko yomnyango wethu all protocol observed bawethu mphakathi walapha eBhongweni ngiyanibingelela. Igama lami nginhlanganiso KwaZulu mfana omdala kaBhejane Bakwethu ukuba ambassador ke is not a nice thing to be. Phela nihlala kwanje lokho ukuthi kuba ambassador kuthiwa inhlanganiso ye-ambassador kule process enkulu ebuhlungu engidlula kuyona. But ke ngoba ngisayibambile ngiyohlala ngiyibambile lapho. But engizoke emphasize nje. Ushenge sasinayo iParliament sibika lolu daba kusekhona bakumswaleti. Ngiyacela nje bakwethu. Nasemakhosini noma engekho. Naseyinduneni noma engekho la. Umhlokombani wagcina edeclare indaba ye-TB as the enemy number 1 to us. Sasekhathomena lapho owayisho khona ukuthi naye because noma engazi affect i-TB personally but all of us here might not be as I say told TB but somewhere somehow we are linked to TB. So nami as an ambassador ka-TB body ngizocela nje ukuthi ngiyacela bakwethu uyethi umuntu angaze ayithola i-TB kulomhlaba esiphila kuwo umuntu ongaphefumuli la ungaphuma usunayo i-TB nama don't know ukuthi i-TB ngayithola kanjani mina ngenze ngisho ke mase ngikhuluma ngathi because ngaleyo nkathi ngithola i-TB I used to drive for isilo ngaleso sikhathi leso but i-TB ngendlela eyiyona don't have respect ayinandaba nokuthi ubani uthi uzalwa uzwelithini uzalwa ubaba umeya ubani they don't it doesn't care yedlule emaphoyiseni na ukubhejane yeza kimi. One of the person who diagnosed with TB nangu Dr Tshabalala. It was 1988. 2008. Udlali World Cup nje mina ngamon pain. Le ventilator abantu ababefa ngayo nge-COVID I know it very well. Have kubuhlungu ngazo ukuphefumula. Uthi awudonsa umoya I was breathing at 15%. But ngomusa nje. Ngafuna sikhumbule abantu leyo nto leyo ngomusa then ngaphila. Namhlanje speaker I'm not celebrating but in to 10 years with one lung. uNkulunkulu wangidala ngiphelele omvela sabayazika ngisadlala ibhola kuMaZulu. I was one of the fastest boy but I can't do those things. I'm 50 years today and I've got one lung. I-problem yake yaba khona ngesikhathi ngizobona uma umkami ekhulelwe ngale ngathi bengihlinza iphapha emkhipha iphapha so it means ngacishe ngangayibona ingane yami but ngiyacela nje bakwethu ngicela bakwethu abantu abane-TB musana kube inyani i-TB yalibangaka isigcwagcwa kubantu ine-stigma esibi i-TB ngakho ngicela nibasupporte abantu bakini noma ibilunga lomphakathi eline-TB ngoba umuntu oyedwa one-TB engelashiwe i-TB uyingozi kini. And you must know ukuthi ngidila namadoda kule province ne-program engiyiranayo okuthiwa isibasa amadoda ubhejana ngishela yona nje sayiqasa no-Dr Tshabalala siqala indaba yokusoka. One of the main killer disease emhlabeni ukubulala amadoda nabantu besilisa i-TB. Madoda le ndaba ukuthi indoda ayikhali uNkulunkulu wadala inyembezi zifuneka ziphume inyembezi le nto ukuthi amadoda avale izifo ayivalele emzimbeni ingozi I was one of them. Because nangicabanga ukuthi ngihlanganiswa yini ne-TB. Ngoba ngizana i-TB into yabantu abanjani. But kwangiprovela leyo nto leyo ukuthi nangu noMandela u-TB wayithola. Nangu noTutu wayithola i-TB omkhulu. But babothi ngiyangicela ke nje. Nakana abantu abane-TB. Special abantu besilisa. Ingapha isele nathi. We can't song isikhathi uhlale ukopolotwa thina ukopolotwa thina umuntu une-TB ekhaya uyakhohlela udla ugwaye egcekeni ufakela ingane zakhe u-TB. Ngiyacela bakwethu angizeli uzonithethisa but kubuhlungu ukuphila nephapha elilodwa. Uyabona lelo lilodwa sengilifanisa nezikhathi zamantungu because angikwazi ukuthi umuntu noma ebhema noma ukuphi ngiyamcela bafo ngiyacela ususe ugwayi wakho la eduze kwami because anginayo ifilter mina. Ngakho-ke ngiyacela nje bakwethu ukungabi nephapha elilodwa-ke kuyingozi. Ngathi ngingene yi-COVID isilo nje sasithandaza kanjalo nkosi yami ingane ungabi yophila yini. I survived. I'm a survivor mina. But nje ngiyacela bakwethu induna abelaphi futhi ke ngingcono ngisebenza nabelaphi. Siyasebenzisana kahle kabi ngabacela sihlangane kwindawo ngomcathi ngicela bakithi ningalokho nimchithela isikhathi umuntu enimbona une-TB. Uma nimbona ama-symptoms e-TB uyehla emzimbeni akakufuni ukudla uyajuluka mawala uyakhwehlela mawala ngithi ningamchithela isikhathi ngoba the minute you spend umdelay umuntu ukuthi umthole i-treatment e-TB i-TB idla igazi. I-TB survive ngegazi. So I've got one line, good people, ending yes. Ubandlululo enginalo nge-TB yami. Akungenzi ngiyiqhenye ngaleyo nto leyo, but I teach other people. Ukuthi kunabantu abanamaphapha amabili, afe enamaphapha amabili. So ngiyacela bathi mawuthi uthola ukuthi une-TB, futhi ithola mahali i-TB. Once you find out une-TB, start your treatment there and there. 6 months njengamanje kuzanywa indlela zokuthi i-treatment ithi ufinyela ngeinyanga. But bakwethu ngifuna untshela futhi is not good thing to take amaphilisi. Abantu umuntu angakhulu umuntu ayithandayo noma yini abantu be-TB. Kuyakuthiwa ngikhulu umuntu oyithandayo njengodokotela. Kunzima ukuphuza amaphilisi every day. So that is why kufuneke i-support yawo wonke umuntu osekhaya. Umuntu nimsupporte and iphilisi le-TB lihlupha ngento eyodwa lifuna ukudla. So ke bawothi nami-ke ubaba kasekho uselele kobondayo but he declared a war against tuberculosis. Ngakho ngiyanicela bakwethu ngicela niphumela nazi ukuthi ubhejane weni lapha lele khona wakhuluma nge-TB ngoba naye it affected him through mina. Amanini osebenzela abantu bakwethu i-TB monke futhi ngoba sekukade ngoba sizoyilontsha i-Caucus. So ke sekumsebenzi wakho-ke speaker njengo-speaker we-province ukuthi utshela wonke umuntu okuyi-constituency la ophethe uthi siyacela bakwethu wonke umuntu ake beyi-ambassador ye-TB. Angani noma nginitshengisa lento engifuna ukunitshengisa noma nginiyeke. Ke nibona ubuserious balethu ukuthi ingakanani bawethu. This is not a joke. Ngiyeke dokotela noma ngiyenze. No, it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Kuthi ngifuna nazi ukuthi nobaba wami wayephathe kanjani. Do you know ukuthi isilo wayovula iParliament mhlangihlinzwa. The time kutholakala nje ukuthi iParliament liqhumile because laqhuma ejimini ngijimi. Kwamele likhishwe there and there within within 8 hours. Awuzela mphephetha. Sorry mphephetha, sorry dokotela ukuphazamisa. Yebo. Ntole.
Ayizofika.
Ne, ophamisa mphephetha. Phamisa futhi. Yebo, okay. No, that's fine. Ilento ngisho bakwethu ukuthi akuve kubhlungu ukuthi uNkulunkulu wangizala ngiphelele but balikhipha iphaphu futhi ngathi ngiyacela ukulibona bangitshengisa lona futhi and ke short wakhona ufuna ungidonatela lona angeke ngisavuma angaze ngizile inhlungu enjeni emzimbeni wami ngendaba ye-TB. So kunabantu ke bakithi abafayo ababulawa yi-TB benamaphaphu amabili. Ngakho ngiyacela bayithi uma usuthole ne-TB go and finish your medication and then find again. Musukuyitshela and i-TB into e-wrong ngayo within our society. Kakhulukazi thina ndle emnyama. Shenge ihamba nokunukana phakathi. Kunemndeni nami ngase ngibabonile egcekeni lakithi abathisi. And ayikho into eyingozi njengokunukana egcekeni. Imndeni yehlukana ngendaba yale TB. So istigma kumane iqiniso umuntu ngalokho nithi ungena abantu abadala ebefe emhlabeni. Ngiyacela nje bakwethu. uNkulunkulu anibuseke bakwethu.
Undaba ezitsha masivumelane ukuthi sisuka kude nalomzukuzuku we-TB seyinyukele uhulumende ukuthi njengangoku aqiniseke ukuba wenza kanjani na ukushortenisha ixesha lokulinda ama-results as this province sine-gene expert okwaziyo ukukhohlela namhlanje ufumane imiphumela ye-TB yakho into ukuthi une-TB nanoba una-TB. Kwa-HIV and AIDS siyenza ama-test nakhona aphuma same day yonke loo nto leyo kwenzelwa into yokuthi ukuqala kwe-treatment yomuntu mayiqalwe ngokushesha kungade kube late ngoba kusenokwenzeka uba sehleli ixesha elide ekhaya. Sesitshilo ke njengangoku sesizobiza phakathi kwethu sibize ubaba uShabalala ukuze azosinikeza the overview of TB in South Africa but specifically in KZN. Over to you Msheni.
Ngibonge mphathi wehlelo ngicela ukubingelela kuwe bese ngicela futhi kuwe ukuthi ekubingeleleni kwami angibingelele and stand on the protocol that has already been set ukuze ngingadli isikhathi uMageba uthi mangidlula kuye uselambile futhi unephapha elilodwa manje angikukhumbule lokho yiko ke Mageba ngizoshesha indaba ezithi. Mine is to just speak about the overview of TB in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Ngicela ukuyiqala lento ngokuthi ziningi indlela noma zimbalwa indlela ezikhona zokuhlukanisa TB. Ikhona indlela yokubheka ukuthi ikuphi emzimbeni kodwa esiyibheka kakhulu nengifuna ukugcila kuyo ile esiyihlukanisa ngokuthi is it a drug sensitive or drug susceptible or is it a resistant TB. Using that type of classification kukhona le esithi it's a drug susceptible TB. Abanye bathi i-normal TB angazi ke unormal ogula umfaka kanjani kodwa That's what we say, normal TB. Ile TB othi umuyitreata normally umuntu adle i-treatment for at least 6 months iphele. Bese kuba khona le esithi i-multiple drug resistant TB. Usually leyo i-resistant to ama-drugs amabili kulama drugs esiwasebenzisayo. Ngenxa yaleyo resistance, inkinga eqalayo akayimenshina kancane Mageba yokuba nenkinga kwabantu kokudla treatment ukuthi now awusayidli treatment for only 6 months but isiyaqala manje ikhozi yakho ibe u9 months nangaphezulu up to 18 months. Eyesithathu inhlobo ile esithi extreme or extensively drug resistant TB. Leyo resistant to many, more than 2 of these drugs. Uma ke lapho kufuneka utreatwe kusho ukuthi kufanele utreatwe for 24 months, sometimes for a longer period. Uma ngingacela la ngithi bangakhe singacela baphakamisa izandla ukuthi bathe sebetholiwe ukuthi bagula ngomkhuhlane nje. Banikwe treatment ukuthi abayidle for 5 days, bawuqede 5 days. Khona aba-attestayo ukuthi abawuqedanga. Manje makufuneka uqede u24 months of treatment, imagine how difficult it is. Unzimande speaks to ukuthi asenayo imjovo. Ngesikhathi sinemjovo kwakuba khona la kufuneka every day uzithole uyojova ujovela iTB. Okwakunenqwaba yama side effects okwakuhambisana nako. There have been improvements with all that. But uma si analyze TB, firstly, we say TB is curable. And as such, TB kufanele ngabe ayisibulali. Kodwa inkinga iqala ekutheni siyalinda kuze kube isikhathi la kubonakala khona ukuthi it's now extensive within our bodies in terms of prognosis. Ngizowabala ama-group ekuyiwona la iTB isihlupha khona kakhulu, kodwa ngiyafisa ukuqala obaba. Obaba uthe khwehlela aqala ubize ngomkhuhlane nje omncane. Aphinda khwehlele athi hayi ngizothi ukushaya isitifu ngibe right. Aphinda khwehlele aphinda athi hayi awuthi ngithi ukuphumula ngiyabona ukuthi ngikhathele. Zibe khona izaba zibe ningi. Kuyothi la kutholakala khona ukuthi TB it's difficult to treat. Kungenxa yaloko la sithi masibheka using Stats SA information sithola ukuthi of the 10 diseases that cause death within South Africa, TB is still leading. Bisilandelwa o diabetes, you can realize ukuthi we come from a situation where HIV was killing more people, but now TB has remained. Of what we call the quadruple burden of disease, which is TB, HIV, non-communicable diseases, trauma, bese kuba izifo that affect women or mama nabantwana. TB still remains our utmost biggest problem, and the reason, among others, is us, not ukuthi TB is changing so much itself. Uma ubuka eSouth Africa, out of 100,000 people, 633 in 2022 had an incidence of TB being at that level. Kathanisa logo ubheke KZN uyabona ukuthi this incidence KZN is standing at 372 per 100,000. Baningi labo bantu. But Anthem speaks of the big roads in our province, N3 and N2. Umubuga, i-TB yethu is very much concentrated kumadolobha noma kuma districts that are directly linked to these two big roads akhona in our province. Siqala ngayo i-hub of our economic activity, iTheku. iTheku is leading, unfortunately, with TB. iTheku is leading with HIV. iTheku is also, if you carefully analyze, leading with severe acute malnutrition. Nxumalo is correct. You do not find these in Westville, but you find it in Nanda. You find it in informal settlements. You find it in areas where mostly black people are. Although city ETP does not choose color, but it does show that an element of poverty does contribute to how ETP is killing us. Amanye amadolobha, amanye ama-districts alandelayo kuba uku, kube iKing Cetshwayo, kube uMgungundlovu, bese lawo elandelwa iLembe. Umubheka, these are the areas where economics of our province is concentrated. You then also ask yourself a question, Eti, kungani eMzinyathi you've got the lowest TB rate than in all the other districts of our province? Among other reasons is because the support within the society there is higher than what is happening in the urban areas. Iyafuna-ke lento sizibuza ukuthi, is the life we're living a life that we want to live in terms of supporting each other? A study was done in KwaHlabisa at some stage, and it proved ukuthi people who have got directly observed treatment beyithatha being supported by abelaphi bendabuko, they were doing much better than being supported by their own relatives or by their healthcare workers. And that begs a question that says, how much do we include abelaphi bendabuko in our management of our societal issues, not health issues, societal issues? TB being one of the societal issues. It also begs a question of those that want to say we should not start NHI now, or what we call universal healthcare coverage, bafuna ukubona abantu abamnyama beqhubeka befa yini before we start to initiate these progressive programs. But ke olunye udaba nalolo. Kunabantu ke that we say are key populations or people who are more at risk of getting ETP compared to others. Among these are people whose immunity is negatively affected one way or another. These include people living with HIV, people who are contacts to people who are TB positive, ingane that are 5 years and younger, healthcare workers, they are exposed to TB on a daily basis. The elderly, because the immunity goes down as you age, but also the adolescents and the young people because of their activity and also their non-adherence generally to medication. People with diabetes, pregnant women. Unfortunately, women just stands on its own. men generally because they generally refuse to go and consult before. Ngiyayibuka khona ngimbukayo nje bangathi konje sagcina nini kuyo-check-a nje prostate kuthiwa hayi awume kancane sobuye siqhubeke. That's the attitude of men and it's a problem. Angizange ngithombe muntu ke. But also people who are mine workers do have a problem, sex workers and people who smoke. Ngihlale ngithi ke somlomo ngicela ukupha umuntu 200 rands angiphi advantage yokubhema ugwayi. Angiyazi advantage yokubhema ugwayi, but we so much have people who are smoking and they enjoy it one way or another, and it contributes not only to TB but to all other challenges that we have with which are health challenges. It also rhymes with what you were saying, Dr. Nzimande, where people who are poor end up abusing alcohol and as such expose themselves and include themselves to those people who are at higher risk of being TB positive. People with disabilities, but also people with mental health do have this problem. Now, there are 5 pillars or 5 approaches that we are using in trying to reduce the scourge that is called TB, whichever TB that we are talking about. One of them is to communicate and advocate. Here, Somlomo and the whole TB caucus in our province, we want to also ask you that as you go to different communities to do your oversight and do all the work that you do include the issues that speak to TB among the work that you do. Do speak about TB in the OSS structures. Do speak about TB in all the activities, as I have said, but do also advocate for people to accept being screened for TB, but when they are TB positive, to take treatment and be supported for that TB treatment until they finish treatment, not until they feel they are better. But also there are other activities where we say we want to find and link people. We've got community healthcare workers who we use to find people, firstly, who are living with people who are TB positive, but also those who may have been diagnosed to be given treatment or started on treatment. This we are mentioning because there are instances where sifike kwadambuza, simthole umuntu, simscreene, siyenze i-gene expect as mama uMajola. Bese sihamba siyoconfirm ukuthi this person does have TB, but mase silandela sithola ukuthi usinike a wrong address, a wrong cell number, and we then have to go back and look for that person. Ngalesikhathi singamtholi uyayispreada i-TB in the community. So we do want to also ask you to assist us as we find and link these people to treatment. We have our own processes, but also it's a process that you can join and assist us with. Because we want to ensure that at least within 7 days of us knowing your results, siyaqala sikunike i-treatment. Kunzima ukudla amaphilisi ngeke ngayisho. But we do also want to make sure that we treat and people must retain being on treatment and care until they are free of TB. That needs a lot of encouragement from all of us. Ikhona ke le esihluphayo, ngicabanga ukuthi sihlupha sonke le ka prevention. Prevention usho ukuthi our behaviors must say we should not be exposing ourselves to TB. indawo ezi-congested, the mines, the hostels, the shacks, if I may use that term, informal settlements, are the areas where we find TB being high. But even if you are in those areas, ukuvula amafastela does contribute in preventing the spread of TB. But also, we want to be able to prepare people ukuthi uma usutholakele ukuthi une-TB, let's prepare you ukuthi ukwazi ukuyield the treatment and stand all the side effects. We know there may be side effects, but we also must monitor. As you go around also, Bahlonishwa and the leadership, do also monitor whether the statistics we give you is correct. Ngoba ngesinye isikhathi we get information from the different organizations we work with and we think we are winning, but we have found ukuthi iTheku with all the resources still is leading, and that's not the best thing we can ever say. We do have, and we are responding here to the call by the government of the day, which said the services must go to the people. Yingako kukhona ama-mobiles that go to the people. Yingako kukhona ama-mobile x-rays that go to the people. Yingako kukhona ama-mobile laboratories that use both the sputum and the urine to give it diagnosis, and we quickly try to make sure ukuthi we find the person, we link them to treatment, we start them on treatment, but the monitoring and adherence becomes our responsibility, all of us, including making sure that there is food on the table for those people. Naga nati baholi, there must be one home, one garden. Encouraging one home, one garden does not have to do only with food, but it also has anything and everything to do with people being able to have food and take treatment. So we need to encourage that behavior by our community. Akhona messages that we distribute in all languages, but at the end of the day, the support and the structures of government that we are using to make sure that we support people, but we do not do for them is important. And as such, Operation Sukuma Sake, TB Caucus, and all the other structures must assist us in making sure ukuthi we do win against TB. Ishuguti, it's our responsibility as a collective, not only the Department of Health. Ngiyabonga.
Ngiyabonga Mshengu siqobelelana ngolwazi ilanga elimnandi. Without wasting time, I think now we have reached a point that is really talking to what we are here for. This is the time where we are going to be having our Honourable Mthembu, our speaker, announcing the KZN TB Caucus Coordinating Committee, declaring KZN TB Caucus launched, signing off the TB declaration. Over to you, Mthembu.
Honourable members, guests and our partners, ndisukuma ngoku nokukhulu ukuzithoba nochulumanco ukuphakamisa igqugula lendlu yowiso-mthetho yaKwaZulu-Natal, lemibutho ehlangeneyo elijongene nesifo sephepha. Ndizawuqala nge-coordinating committee, emva koko size nge-declaration There is the Barcelona Declaration that South Africa is a signatory of, that all members of the legislature of KwaZulu-Natal as the TB caucus are going to be signatories to, coordinated by the coordinating committee of the TB caucus that is led by the chairperson of the coordinating team. How? Kade ngimalana kunensizwe bengayibone la emva kwahlo. Awusabona sihlala kwamatishera. Emva kwaloko ke sikwazi ukwazisa wonke umuntu ukuthi silontshiwe i-caucus. Amalungu angekhoyo apha namhlanje ayawuthi ayisayineke mhla isayinayo. Ifana nangalamine wawufungiswe esishaya mthetho uzohlala apho usayine. Akekho ilungu elizohlala phansi licinga izawusayinwa pha, izawuzobekwa njengoba isibekiwe. Uxolo noncengwa. Izawuzosayinwa pha ngaphambili. It's more official. The process of signing, it's more official. Izawuthi xa seyisayiniwe ihambe iyo-enlargeka and be pasted in the walls of the legislature. It goes to SANAC. It also goes to the Parliament of the Republic of South Africa as for record keeping. That when we say we have a TP caucus, we are truly a TP caucus in KwaZulu-Natal. Ndicela kuqala ukunazisa umemela. Ndizaqala Okay. Ndizawuqala ngokunazisa amalungu a coordinating committee which is led by usihlalo wayo ophinde abe ngusihlalo wekomiti yezempilo njengokwe resolution, the Honourable Nomakiki Rosaline Majola. Honourable Gloria Nonzwakazi Umaswar Boy Dombela. Bazosukuma laba bakhona mase sibabize bonke. Honourable Phumzile Mamba Tatsele. Honourable Sfiso Harriet Mamba Tatsele. Honourable Sifiso Musa Wenkosi Sonjita. Honourable Mpumelelo Amon Zulu. Honourable Emmanuel Vusumuzi Dube. Mamkwanyana konje kuthiwa ngubani igama lakho lesingisi. Honourable Ncamisile Jane Kwanyana Nkhwashu Jane. Honourable TJ Gumede. Thaba Gumede. Honourable EV Bati. Honourable Mongezi Twala. Honourable Sipho Eric Manele. We only have 5 present here today. May you rise, honourable members, so that they can identify the 5 of you. Sukuma sisinamsile, sukuma sisithoko. Sukuma Amon, Sukuma Amon, Sukuma Amon. Ankela. Yeah. Now we are going to present the Barcelona Declaration, which enjoins all the members of the legislature to play a leading role in the fight for the elimination of TB in line with the Sustainable Development Goal. ngizama ukulibazisa kunelungu ebekuthiwa liyangena la mnyango. That would be important ukuthi libe khona when we are doing the declaration. I think it's very important. Nokuthula, the member that you said is entering. How far is she? Huh? Akakaqhamuki. I was told that there is Honourable Smelane that is entering as we take the declaration. Secretary, you're going to help us as we take the declaration, or I read it for all of you. Honourable members of the legislature of KwaZulu-Natal, may we all stand to take the declaration. Then I will be calling you individually. I hope the Ugutunerusha Uzogabili Golo Anitumeleli declaration Nibambe kanje as we say it. As Yasuguma Putemba, we're reading the declaration. Stand up. We're doing the declaration. She's here. No, I am really, I will be unfair. I say they must at least put it on screen for you. It's really unfair to expect you to say it after me. Ningayiboni indawo. Okay, uthi unesi uBhumede uzoyitsho, let's go. We, the undersigned, as political representatives of various peoples of the world, recognizing that every man, woman and child should be able to live their lives free from the tyranny of disease. Hereby declare that tuberculosis has killed a greater number of people than any other infectious disease in human history, and continues to be responsible for 1.5 million deaths a year, often affecting the most vulnerable, and that it should be a global political priority. That the current rate of progress in combating TB is too slow, such that the disease will remain a threat to the social and economic well-being of millions of citizens around the world for centuries to come, and that accelerating progress against the disease should be recognized by all governments to be in the interest of all. That drug-resistant TB demonstrate a collective failure to address the disease properly, imposing an often unbearable burden of treatment on patients and threatening to set back progress against the disease at the great cost of millions of lives. And that it should be the focus for agent action. that the current drugs for TB treatment are inadequate, that vaccines and diagnostics are insufficient, and that the commercial market for pharmaceutical development has failed TB patients, that TB imposes on patients a triple burden, combining the devastating health impact of the disease itself, the harsh burden of treatment, and the isolation of social exclusion driven by stigma and fear, and that these problems should be addressed holistically by national health programs, that TB co-infections such as HIV and diabetes compound the challenges faced by patients during treatment, hindering efforts to reduce rates of disease and increasing the mortality and morbidity associated with TB, and that healthcare systems should integrate programs for key core infections. We therefore commit to use all the means at our disposal to urge sustained action from our governments to secure the necessary international and domestic resources to combat TB and to press for the prioritization of the disease on political agendas, specifically to demand that every patient, regardless of who they are, where they live, or their ability to pay, shall have access to quick, accurate diagnosis and high quality treatment, and that TB diagnosis and treatment never result in the impoverishment of patients or their families, to call for a model of research and development that is driven by public health need and will support and enhance existing pipelines of desperately needed new drugs, diagnostics, and vaccines to ensure that new treatments are accessible and affordable for the patients who need them. To insist that patients and vulnerable groups are placed at the heart of the response to the disease, supporting the engagement of communities and civil society groups in every aspect of TB prevention, detection, and treatment, puncturing stigma, and giving patients a stronger voice in the response to the epidemic. And to this effect, we hereby agree to establish a new global parliamentary caucus to press for a more effective response to the TB epidemic, working with official organizations, including the World Health Organization, UNITAID, the Global Fund, the Stop TB Partnership, the Union and UNAIDS, and with non-governmental organizations across the world, reaching across political and geographical divides, and seeking to build commitment in our own countries and beyond to secure an end to the TB epidemic within a generation. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the legislature, I now declare the KwaZulu-Natal TB Caucus as officially launched. The next step from here, we shall be calling on all the members of the legislature to come forward to sign the pledge in line with the legislature protocol. I now call upon the Honourable Richard Mthembu to come down and sign, followed closely by the Honourable Thengiwe Silindile Mavimbela, followed by the Honourable Pumelelo N Zulu, followed by the Honourable Vuyiswa Precious Kaluza, followed by the Honourable Nomakiki Rosaline MAJOLA, siyasayina nje kuphela iphuzu iphume iphuzu iphume iphuzu iphume. I will start with chairpersons of committees. Honourable MPP Zungu, Honourable AM Khiliza, Honourable TV Kulu, Honourable Zibuyile Rejoice Zulu, RZP Zulu. Ntwana umntu. Honourable Nondumiso Cele, Honourable Otto Kunene, bambela ugwala njalo wemtimande kwafuneka uhambe usheshe uyashesha uba Gwala. Honourable HS Dlamini, Honourable L. Ngubane, Honourable TJ Gumede, Honourable NJ Nkwanyana, Honourable MP Kaula, Honourable Mutli, Honourable Bapti, Honourable Shinga. There is no member that has not been called, you know? Oh no, he's left the place. No, Honourable, the tall member, Ram Cash. Okay, okay. Honourable Prampakash. I didn't see you. I'm looking this way. I almost even caught Charlie. Finally, now. Don't get back. You said back. I am now calling Honourable Nontembe Boyce to go and sign. The performance
This is a orders to private after that, spaces had to go. Scientists don't want to watch those banners. Huh? Yes. We'll take one now.
bakhona abahlonishwa umphakathi wonke wasebhongweni eKOKSTAD nabo bonke abaqhamuka eminyangweni kahulumeni eyahlukahlukene ikakhulukazi umnyango wezempilo. Ngicabanga ukuthi lolu suku belibalulekile ukuthi sibe nalo njengeshamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal. Thina sonke kuningi esikufundile futhi ke sesizibophezele akusafanele umuntu akhuluma okuningi. Kuphela nje ngizokwedlulisa amazwi okubonga. Okokuqala kunina nonke enenze lolu suku lwaba impumelelo ngokuba kho kwenu la ngoba ubani bangabikho belingeke lube impumelelo lolu suku. Kodwa ke ngifisa ukubonga ngokwedlulele kulabo abalandelayo. Ngifisa ukubonga kakhulu ku-Think Organization okuyiyona esebenze nathi njengeshamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal uqinisekisa ukuthi zonke izinsiza ezenza lolu suku lube impumelelo iyakwazi ukusilekelela ngazo. Thank you very much to the Think Organization. Ngicela sibapheni izandla. Sifisa futhi ukubonga kakhulu ku-SANAC okuyena oqinisekisile ukuthi abantu bonke bayathwala bayafika la. Siyafisa ukubonga ngokwedlulele sicela sibapheni izandla. The coordinating team from both the legislature nase-ofisi likaNdunankulu siyabonga kakhulu dadewethu Miss Tshabalala ukuyibophezela kwakho neteam obusebenza nayo ukuthi lo msebenzi ube impumelelo. Sengithi angedlulisele kuwe kakhulu amazwi okubonga ngimiyeke uHOD ngoba uwena who was on the ground making sure ukuthi we are launching this Caucus TB today as the Caucus yaKwaZulu-Natal. Ngicela sibapheni ihlombe bonke. Ngifisa ke ukuthi sonke sesibuyele emakhaya, uNkulunkulu asilonde, siphephe, asigcinele imindeni yethu. Yindi indlela esazoyihamba. Siyabonga kunina nonke, nibusiseke. Ngiyabonga.
Singakhange silidle ithuba sicela njengangoku into yokuthi simamele isimemezelo endiqonda into yokuba sawusivuyela sonke eso simemezelo esakwenziwa nguGambu ubaba uMemela. Over to you, Gambu.
Siyabonga kakhulu uhlalo ithuba. Esami isimemezelo nje asisoba sifishana siphathelene nokuya ngasethunjini. Sicela ukuthi senze kanjena. Amalungu wesishamthetho, amakhansela namakhosi ngokunjalo. Socela ukuthi bangene kulomnyango ngapha oseqaleni nje. Babambe ongasethunjini bese behambe beyohlala kunesitulo laphana indawo yokuhlala lapha bazohlala khona. Kuzoba amalungu esishamthetho, amakhosi, amakhansela nama-civil society formations la ekade sibambisene nawo ukwenza lo mcimbi ube yi-success noma ube impumelelo. Kuzothi amalungu omphakathi ozakwethu abameli laphana emnyango ngasemuva bazobafaka ngamunye ngama-rows ukuthi nabo bathole indawo. Ama-serving points wonke asendaweni eyodwa kodwa sicela ukuthi siqale ngamalungu eshamthetho sidlulele emakhanseleni, amakhosi nama-civil society formation senze kanjalo. Siyabonga kakhulu.